Welcome back. It is still the conversation, and thank you for staying tuned with Lagos Television. Our focus on the conversation today is centered on local government administration in Lagos. What are the potential improvements that can be achieved in local government administration that can shift the efficiency, leadership, and overall functioning of local government? Our guest is the immediate past chairman, Amuwodofi local government, and he will be sharing vital things with us here in the studio. He is Comrade Yodili Adewale. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so you were once on that seat. From your perspective, when you look at the current state of service delivery and governance at the local government level, how would you assess it, looking at how it used to be then and now?
Well, I would just leave it as this. Franz Fanon once said that every generation, out of his own relative obscurity, will determine his own mission, either to fulfill it or betray it. And I think I'll leave it at that.
Just simple as that.
So, I want to know, during your own tenure, what was it, what was the most significant improvement you did when you were the local government chairman?
Well, basically it was on the environment and infrastructure.
Okay.
These are very two key areas that development will lay premise on. If you don't have good environment, definitely you're going to have a lot of health issues, health complications, diseases and all that. If you don't have good infrastructure, it's going to affect the economy and, of course, security. So when you have these two pivotal systems in place, every other thing will plug on. Okay, the second one that we focus more on, third, was education and health. If you don't have very good educated citizenry, no matter what you bring, they tend not to understand it and not to plug onto it. If you have a very educated citizenry, you're going to spend less on security, you spend less on health, and you spend less on managing the environment. So we made sure that all of the primary school, because local government is saddled with the responsibility of focusing primarily on primary education. So I met 22 primary schools. I rehabilitated all. I built more. And in each of the primary schools, because I schooled in Festac Town, I've been there since 1978. And one of the things that give me a very sad memory was whenever I come late, when my mom drops me, they'll ask us to go wash the toilet, and you find poo on the ground. So that really prevented me from going to boarding school, the memory. I'll always beg to pick papers. So I made sure that each school had 2 cleaners and 1 gardener. So the student had nothing to do with cleaning of the school. Mind you, we also built more schools, and I remember I built 15 modern toilets with treatment plants, aside from borehole treatment plant, aside from putting it on it at existing schools. While we were in school, there was nothing like energy system, electrical energy in the infrastructure. So I made sure that we put that there, and we created some computer hubs for training for the pupils. Then we provided uniform for all of them, bags, and all of that. And we did try to educate them on management of the environment and climate change. And for each of the head teacher's office, we made sure that there were swivel chairs, lovely tables, and air conditioning. So a good environment for us was very key. And we produced, notebooks. 3 notebooks per subject, 2 per assignment for the subject, then extra 10. Then you have a pupil taking as much as this volume of notebooks that will take care of them, because I remember Governor Jakonde did same for us. We were the test experiment of universal primary education then, UPE.
That was in
the Jakonde days.
Okay, 19.
Yeah.
Okay.
and pencil,
1982.
you know, and all of that. Then for health, we also made sure that we gave free delivery. Free delivery. We had over 3,000 babies that were delivered. And we get, yes, at the primary healthcare center. We had 1 triplet, several twins. And we also gave free drugs to people within the age of 0 to 16 and 60 and above. Then we gave delivery kits, and for each mother that delivers, that I meet there, then we give them 10,000 naira as support and all of that. Then we did a lot of EPI programs. We partnered with a pharmaceutical company called Profis Pharmaceutical then. And we were voting between 1 million to 2 million naira as at then for free drugs. And we also partnered with L Lab and Sun Lab. Then I met one doctor when I was there. I had to partner with the NYSC and the Nigerian military. And we increased it at some point to over 100 doctors, but it dwindles, you know, according to the number of NYSC core members that were posted to the local government, because we have to do an exchange. NYSC will readily tell me that they don't have enough doctors, but for one doctor, I must take other disciplines. So sometimes we'll have NYSC core members posted to Amu Odofi, ranging from about 180 to 260, right? And we're paying our core member doctors at the Riverine 100,000, Upland 70,000. Then the engineering profession, 50,000. Then, if I remember, teachers at the Riverine, 50,000, Upland, 30,000. And we had an education consultant. She's late now. She came on board, and she also helped us to train, because you have to train the core members to understand the curriculum. So she would train them. She was a former head teacher. She was a former principal. Yeah, former principal. Kehinde Ogini is her name. Yeah. And we did all that. And we're giving free JAM forms. I remember that we're giving 500 free JAM forms for 6 years. Then GCE forms 600 per year. And for people for free. And we partnered with the NUT, the Nigerian Union of Teachers, to train them. So we have 4 belts. One at the Riverine, Mautu, Festac, and Abuliado, right? For people to come, train them and all that. And we also partnered with NIT. You know, NIT is one of the biggest IT institutes in the world. And when you have the certificate in any country, you can work all over the world. So we devoted about 15 million, because they charged us 22 million. We negotiated, brought it down to 15, and we also did all of that.
All right. From all that you have read out,
and you can always fact check. Just go to YouTube, type Comrade Ayodele Adewale Positive Impact. You see a documentary package by Deji Badimosi. The first 2 years of our 6 years of administration, you see what we did.
Okay, I like the fact that you can beat your chest and say, this is what I have done, and that shows that you really went in for the service of the people. But now let's talk about
local government administration itself. Yeah.
You know that the local government is like in the middle between the state government and the people. And sometimes I wonder that, do the local government really interpret the state government's policies to the people at the grassroots? Do they really get it? And also, are they also making the state government and understand the needs of the people?
The local government don't have to interpret the program of the state. The local government should have its own program, because they have their own peculiarity. Peculiarities of local government differs as you go. The peculiar needs of people, take for instance in Ikoyi or Balende, is different from what they need as far as Ekpe or Ikorodu Badagry. Likewise, the needs of the people in Apapa is different from what the Surulere people would need, right? And all of these things. So you have to leverage on your strength. Take, for instance, a local government in Ikorodu and Ekpe, Ibejuleki. For me, I would feel that should be the food hub for Lagos and Badagry. They should be able to leverage on agriculture, right? And the blue economy. You'll be amazed that if you go to, I go to the market. My parents had, shown me those things from a very young age, around 10. So I was going to the market like 12, and I could cook, and I can still cook. We go to buy fish. My dad would take me to the law school. There's a fish market under the bridge, that Falomo Bridge. I still go there. I have my customers there. The Ghanaian, with their wooden boat, will go to the sea, right? Catch fish and come to sell for us. If you go to Ekpe, there's a fish market, right? So I will expect that the local government will partner with those people to improve on their capacity. Like when I was in Amuwo, we partnered with Fadama, right, to use the 6th Avenue for farming. And we created a microfinance stream, partnering with LASMI and Cowrie Microfinance to provide funds for small businesses at 1.5% of interest, 1.5, without any collateral. The collateralization will be a letter of recommendation from their religious leader, either the pastor or the imam or the community leader. Then we put them into a cooperative so that they don't, misuse the funds and they can leverage on each other's ability, right? Because we know we don't have vast land for agric, but small vegetable farming and all of these things and small businesses were supported. So I would expect that local government like that would do that. Why state government focus more on policies, security, and some other things as provided in Nigerian Constitution. That was why I differ from your earlier statement.
So how can local governments now better encourage community engagement and participation in governance?
Is to continue to have discussion. Okay. When I came in 2008, for me to improve on my IGR, for instance, I had to meet with the people, and we created a steady town hall meeting. It was a quarterly meeting, and we created what was known as the Amuwo Praising. It's a newsletter, right? An A4 paper, 4 pages, black and white. So on it, you see the activities of local government, the projection, projects, number of security agencies, and every other thing. We produce 10,000 copies per week. Every week, 10,000 copies. And we partner with the news vendors to put it as a session in newspapers, right? Because you need to engage the people. If you don't engage them, right, in diverse form, it becomes difficult. We were on Twitter as at then. We had our Facebook, we had our website, and all of that. And we were also going for community meetings. That is why I was so not happy with the pronouncement of the court that stopped environmental sanitation in Lagos State. Because aside from cleaning the environment, it provides an opportunity for people to gather.
It might be coming back.
Various points, right, for discussion. And I will go readily to at least 4 areas on every environmental sanitation day to have conversation with them, get to know more of their needs, tell them our own plan, tell them the funds we have, why we can't move this fast, and how we can partner. Because when I came in on October 30th, 2008, I requested for the IGR. And in that month, the local government just made 30,000 naira. Right? So we had to block leakages. We brought in Alpha Beta and some other consultants.
Okay.
And when I was leaving, we left 23 million naira per month from 30,000 naira per month. We didn't go breaking people's heads. We were discussing with people. They were seeing what we were doing and they keyed in and all that.
Because I was going to ask, how does the local government strike a balance between the revenue generation and sustaining and providing essential services for the community? How sustainable has it been?
You have to prioritize your system, right? The first thing is to get your people to understand their own part. It's a partnership, the role they have to play, right? Secondly is for you to block leakages. If you don't block those leakages, there's nothing you can do.
What are some of the leakages that was blocked by your administration?
Some of those leakages were funds going to private hands, right? When you say private hands now, it's not people within the government, right, really. You have people just commandeering some revenue points to themselves. So you have to go there, get them off it, and bring government structure into it. In some aspect, you have to buy them into it and look, you guys, you can't do this, right? Why don't you go and form a revenue company, right? Or partner with a revenue company so that we can engage with you in line with the local government administrative law as put together by the Lagos State House of Assembly. Because if we don't do that, we are going to be fouling the law, right? So we did that workings at the park. Right? Many of the parks believe that, look, we have to, I said, no, you can't, it can't work. It can't work like this. If you partner with the local government, the local government has a percentage that they give the revenue officers or the consultant, as the case may be. You can leverage on this, right? And we are also going to come and fix the infrastructure around you. You are going to benefit from our free health system. You are going to benefit from our educational programs and all of this. And readily, if you have programs, let us know. We could sponsor some of these things, right? So it's a give and take. But again, I use a carrot and stick approach, right? If you do well, we give you incentives. If you don't, we either take you off or you face the law.
Okay, before you go on further, I still want to know more about revenue generation in local government. So what are the main sources of revenue generation, and how can these revenue generation be optimized?
It will be optimized if you know the numbers, because you have to do an enumeration of your revenue points. Okay. If you don't do enumeration, you can't really leverage on your full capacity. Okay. So firstly, you go do your enumeration. You have eggheads that will make sure that the billing is served. And you have to use technology so that people don't bypass, right? They don't pay by cash. They pay direct to the banks. Okay. And you also have to talk to the people, because sometimes they might feel that the revenue or the levies, at local government it's called levies, is high. Take, for instance, somebody comes to meet me and say, oh, Chairman, you're asking me to pay 10,000 naira per year. I say, yes. Okay, this thing is too high. I say, how? Sit down, let's talk. Because I resume office every day for 6 years at 8 a.m. I close at 3 a.m. Every day for 6 a.m. Yeah, 3 a.m. 3 a.m. 3 a.m. One of your reporter can tell you, I've forgotten his name now, the one with the bushy hair. Because he come to the local government, and this other woman, this auntie, she also works here. I remember her name now. Because the best time to get me at my best, for me to pay attention to you, you have to wait. Maybe about 12 midnight to 1 a.m. The crowd would have gone.
When do you get to sleep?
I sleep about 4, because when I close, right, I still have to drive around, check the security nature of the place to make sure, because every month we have a monthly security council meeting, right? The police, the DSS, the army, the immigration, the traditional rulers, right, will be there. The religious faith, we are religious leaders, the kings, we are always there together, and the rest of the association leaders. So they give me intelligential report. Other agencies so peak. So if you tell me, because people can over-assume, if you tell me something that I already know, because I grew up from that area, I know all the hoods, I know the black spots. So at night, when you are sleeping, I also go check. I also monitor projects. So by the time you are coming to me, I have my own information, right? And I always tell people that it's better you do what you love so that you don't become a slave to it. People were bothering that, how do you sleep? And I'm like, well, leave that to me. I thank God for my sleep pattern and all of that.
Okay.
Oh. All right. We can't have this conversation and not talk about the local government autonomy.
And we heard that Lagos State has been autonomous, you know, with their finances. What is your take on this new pronouncement by the Supreme Court?
Well, for me, it's something very heartwarming because it's so appalling when you hear some state government or governors taking fund or controlling, let me not use what taking out, controlling the fund of the local government, and every month they give them a pittance, maybe 500,000, 5 million to go and take care of their local government. You are killing the system. Look, local government are the footing of any government structure. They are the taproots. They are the closest to the people. The state government are just at the top. They don't really see the bottom. And no matter their energy, no matter how good their idea might be, they don't have the capacity to web the area at the same time and dishing out programs, projects, and all of that at the same time. Because people will not wait for you to finish from here to come to here to come to here. You understand? They are in pains. So when you strengthen your local government, you deepen governance to them. And before the creation of state structure, local government have been there pre-independence. Ikorekpene local government was the first to be created in Nigeria, right, during the colonial era. You have the Lagos Island Municipal Council. They predate the creation of state, right? So why should you toss them around? So the best you can do for any good pragmatic leader is to strengthen the structure of the local government, and your work would come to bear, right? You partner with them. They are totally independent. If we are to work the structure of federalism, local government will be more powerful than the federal structure. Take, for instance, if local government was to control the oil and the mineral resources in their domain and use that to develop their area, as we have seen in developed climes, like in the US, in Europe, and some other climes like that, right? Most people don't even know what state government or there's a name they call it in South Africa. I've forgotten the name now. The province. The province are like state structure. They don't know the provincial leader. They don't need mayor because the mayor attend to them, right? That's what they know. So, and that's how it should be. I don't need to cry to Abuja or cry to Alausa, you understand, in order to deepen development. So that is why I give the President of Nigeria a thumbs up to have approached the Supreme Court, one, for interpretation, so that no state governor start hiding under the fact that state has the power to create local government, right? And that is one of the challenges in our constitution. I was once the mobilization and liaison officer for Pro-National Conference Organization, known as PRONACO, right? My background is civil rights. I was former president of Lagos State University. I became the National Publicity Secretary of the NANS, and I started working with now President Tinubu through Olusegun Mayegun, who was SA to him. And I was secretary to Dr. Beko Ransom Kuti at the June 12 Coalition and stakeholders. And I was secretary to Professor Wole Soyinka at the Citizens Forum. And I was mobilization officer to Chief Anthony Enahoro at the PRONACO. Now, we discussed this matter at the PRONACO, and we came up with a draft constitution for Nigeria. And the issue of local government was the main issue, right? Part of the main issue that was discussed on how to separate powers. Now that President Tinubu has come, has made sure that funds will be going direct to the local government. He didn't stop there. He made sure a bill is sponsored to the National Assembly to redefine the structure of local governance administration in Nigeria. And by the time this thing goes full-fledged, you will now see that the burden on the neck of the federal, because in some states, they're moribund. The federal have to come do intervention. And everybody knows the federal. They are shouting federal, federal, Tinubu, federal, federal. Forgetting their state governors, right? Because people pass through the local government secretariat not knowing that it exists. I'm very sure if you are living from, you might have passed some local government, you don't even know that that's where the council is. Because they are not impacting on your life. If they're impacting on your life, you will readily be holding them accountable.
Okay, Lagos State itself has 20 local governments and 37
LCDAs.
So now we're talking of full financial autonomy. How will the finances now be, distributed? The Lagos State House of Assembly passed. I got this from one of my colleagues. The Lagos State House of Assembly passed for second reading an amendment to repeal the Establishment and Administration Law of 20 local government areas and 37 LCDAs 2016 as amended. And the major changes are LCDAs are now to be funded by the Lagos State government upon the signing of a new amendment into law by Mr. Governor.
I think that's a very good step in the right direction because they are preparing for what is to come, right? And you know, Lagos never sleep. Lagos is always a trailblazer in doing things. That fund, for me, is going to look like a special intervention fund, right? Like you have the ecological funds, special status fund, and some other stuff like that. That is what I think that fund will be. But it's not going to take out the fact that the LCDAs will still be relying on their mother body that have created them.
The local governments.
The 20 local governments.
Yes.
Because while we were there, what we did is that during the budgetary year or budgetary activity, the LCDAs will also prepare their own budget, right? They will send it to the mother creation or the mother local government where they are created from. They will embed their budget into the major budget, right? And send it to the parliament, the councillors for approval. Now, when that is approved, anytime the fund comes, they sign off in ratio to them, and they are at liberty also to generate funds for their own development. So what the House of Assembly has done is very, very good. They're taking a very bold step and moving very fast.
Okay. There is another one which says local government areas can now delegate duties to the LCDAs that fall within their territories, like the Shomolu local government, and then we have Bariga. So they can delegate. So what type of responsibilities will now be, handed over to the LCDAs?
Like I said, Lagos is preparing ahead, right? If these funds are going to come, they're going to go to the mother local government. Now, in order to make them in sync in development, so that the developmental strategy will be holistic, and you will not have distortion all around. Take, for instance, the road that passes through you here. There could be an instance whereby an LCDA also have jurisdiction on some part of that road. In some cases, some local governments, you have about 2-3 LCDAs that have been created. Now, along that path, you could have those jurisdiction of the various LCDAs there. So you need someone to coordinate, you understand, the developmental plan, so that you don't accrue to yourself that you are independent in terms of structure, administrative structure. So that is what I feel the House of Assembly have done, to put everybody in line to an objective, and you have one team lead, right? It doesn't take the fact that you are not independent to carry out functions to your people, but there must be a team lead so you can have a holistic approach to governance.
Aside from what you said, what other measures do you think should be in place to ensure accountability?
The measure that should be in place is to ensure that citizens' participation is high, the consciousness is high, and the media has a lot to do. Civil society has a lot to do, because if you turn your eyes away, right, there's tendency that some people will want to play with funds. I'll just use the word play with funds towards ends that are not developmental at the end of the day, because the funds belong to the people. The people owns the government. Periodically, politicians come to the people to renegotiate power and trust, right? As long as you are giving them the sovereignty to manage your fund and your trust, you must also watch how those trusts and funds are managed.
Okay. Let me jump to 4 and 5. There are 5 points there raised. So let me just take 4 and 5. Sitting council chairmen are now barred from taking oath of office 3 times. For emphasis, if for any reason a sitting chairman is removed from office before the termination of his or her term and the vice chairman is sworn in to succeed him, the succeeding chairman will only be legally allowed to run for office as chairman once. Then 5, if a chairman-elect dies before being sworn in or is found wanting for any reason, the vice chairman-elect will automatically inherit the certificate of return. Your reaction to this?
I will take you to how man is structured, looking at the spiritual aspect of man. You have the body, you have the soul, and you have the spirit, right? Now, if you take it to political structure, you have the head, which is the chairman, or the governor, or the president. Now, you have the deputy, should in case it's a joint ticket, right? Now, if the president is impeached, the deputy comes in play, and someone else comes there. So they are one entity, right? If you don't structure it this way, you could have disorder as time persists. But one thing I also would be looking at is when the House now have what's this thing called in legislative term now, the public hearing. I would expect that people should also appeal to the House that longevity matter in governance, especially at the grassroots, right? As long as you have the parliamentarian can continue to come to parliament, as long as their people continue to vote them in, so also should be in local government. If you look at the US, for instance, in some states, there's no time limit, right? It allows to build institution, and it also allows to build for development. If you cut short the longevity, in a case like Nigeria, we are going to be having issues, right? Issues of termination, of progress in some cases, and we must be thankful to the structure we have in Lagos. If we have been having interruption in government, you know, party come in, party, another party go, we might not have this smooth development that we have in Lagos. If you compare it to some other states where you have this party coming in, another party going out, their development have not been as smooth as the Lagos development. And I think that should go for the local government. Leave it open, right? The people will determine whether you continue or not. If you're doing well at the local government, be there to build the institution and build development.
Okay, just before we go, what lessons can be learned from past experiences to improve current local government practices?
Come again, please.
I said, what lessons can be learned from past experience to improve current local government practices?
Well, it's about the people, basically. There's always this apathy from the people to local government governance. And you can see that in the voting pattern. When there is the general election, people come out. Local government election, people, you know, are docile. But with the new approach that have come, with the funds that will be coming direct to the local government now, with more powers given to the local government, people should have more interest in local government, right? Come out, vote for party of your choice, vote for individual of your choice, check those individuals very well, because there's tendency that you might have devils in sheep clothing. There's tendency. So you have to look at them, look at their genealogy, right? Look at their history before you conclude.
look at the history before you conclude. Excuse me.
No problem.
Okay, we've been talking to Comrade Ayodele Adewale, his immediate past chairman, Amuwo Dofi local government area, and we've been talking about local government administration here in Lagos. We'll go on another short break now, and when we come back, the program continues. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.